Welcome back. It's the host of the Porcupine Show. Am I saying that properly?
The porcupine, yeah, I
Okay.
guess.
Is that your mascot too?
Yeah.
My mascot's a dodo. Do you want to have a mascot competition to see who
Well,
fights
since
to the death?
since porcupines are still alive and not extinct, I'm gonna have to
That's a
say my
cheap,
animal would win.
cheap shot. Okay. Well, they might be extinct, but they're older at least. That means they gained more wisdom.
They're so dumb. That's how they got extinct. They would just go
No.
to people and go to rats and dogs and be like, "What's up?" and they get yoked.
Some people actually it was English settlers that decided that not to leave one or two left. They decided to eat them all like fat shits. But
Yeah.
I digress. Welcome to my show, Mr. Adam Nutter.
Welcome. Oh, thanks for having me. I should say
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm not on your show. One day we'll be on the Porcupine, but I don't know what we would talk about.
I guess talk about how much of a libertarian you really are, probably.
I don't see. Someone told me I wasn't. Some person like a couple episodes ago called me a Democrat, and I'm like, I'm a Democrat.
Well, so Robbie, here's a fun thing about being a libertarian is if you're consistent with your beliefs, right, and what you truly believe as a libertarian, when you argue people on the left, you get called a Nazi, and when you argue people on the right, you get called a gay snowflake. That's how it works. So that's something I got to get used to
Well,
because
okay.
they don't like consistency. They like their own echo chambers, and if you come in with a take that's against their take, no matter what, even if I align with 99% of the other things, if I go, well, the police are kind of bad, the right wing is like, what do you say about my fucking cops? And then if I go to the left, I'm like, we should probably stop paying taxes because it's a theft. And they're like, you hate poor people. And it's like, no, I actually want poor people to succeed. That's why we should stop paying taxes.
Yeah,
Like,
but say my biggest problem would be the fact why is it easier to when you have money to succeed? It should be the other way around. If you're poor, it should be easier for you to succeed. But the
well, that's
IRS
just
doesn't go after you because you're the IRS goes after people that are poor because it's easier because people with lots of money can hold out in the court and it costs more money to go
so
do
actually,
something.
Robbie,
Oh,
here's a fun
Jesus.
fact. That's not even what happens. So this is why again, everyone's dumb. People on the left are dumb. People on
I'm
the right are
dumb.
fucking dumb. I'm dumb. I'm for sure dumb. But I do. This is kind of like what I read a lot about this stuff, right? I read a lot about economics. I read a lot about like just government, like anti-government stuff, like how it's bad, why government's evil. I read a lot about like intellectual property. I read a lot about this shit because it's important to me and I care. So I know what I'm fucking talking about. So like people think they go, oh, the government, we're gonna hammer people with taxes, and then poor people go, oh, great, they mean like the rich people.
No.
And sure, do they pull more money out of the rich people's wallet one time a year? One time a year, yes. What these poor fucking idiots don't understand, because usually, again, they vote Democrat. Usually, how it goes, if you look at the statistics, right? Usually, they lean Democrat. These poor they hike up the taxes also on everyday products. It's not just when they say taxes, people just think April 15th. They don't think, oh, bread, oh, clothes, oh, my
Lettuce.
car. Right, everything. So if you're poor, milk used to be like, I'm gonna throw out a number here, $3. Now it's $4.25. Now, if you're rich, does that matter to you? Nope. But if you're poor, that adds up. So now they are hitting poor people throughout the whole year quietly instead of just one big fuck you at the end of the year to rich people.
Oh, why wouldn't more people notice that though? Like I,
No.
I noticed the money change thing, but I never even questioned it. So that's like I'm
Yeah.
like a fucking sheep in an aspect of like I
So when
have to
they
pay
raise
it.
the taxes, this is the game they play. They go, we're raising taxes, but they never say, well, that means all taxes. They just go, we're raising taxes. People go, oh, fuck the rich. Yeah, eat the rich. And they're like, yeah, the rich is like, tax me, dude. I don't give a fuck.
I'm
Tax
not
me.
I'm not against people that make or found a way to succeed and have more money. I mean, if I had more money, I'd obviously probably do more beneficial things with it, with some obviously some selfish stuff, probably make my life a little bit easier just so I can
I
survive.
think most people would actually, if we got gone.
But I look at it like there's a giant feud between people not wanting anybody from another community coming in to want to separate their decision on what they think. Instead of enhancing your perspective, you choose your side and then put up walls and bring out your pitchfork to attack people rather than listening, understanding, and talking. Everything jumps to like, I feel like people are creating false scenarios in their head Like, you know, when you used to go to a job interview and you used to walk up and be like, my name's Jim. Well, hey, Jim, well, why do you want the job? Because I'm fit for the job. Now it's like you see someone in a store wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, you immediately put up the scenario in your head of how this action is going to play out. So when you do approach them, like, I'm finally going to say something, I'm tired of this shit, you come at them like on a level of 10. And then you get fucking this drastic escalation of a situation going. And I don't think that's because people are like dumb or sheep. I think it's because something is making this shit happen. It's something bigger. Like, people think the Illuminati is some type of like shrouded people with cloaks. I think it's just if you got enough money and you know how to manipulate and power and do control or do all these things, you're able to make shit go your way. And that, sadly, what goes your way usually fucks up someone else's interactions.
I think the problem is most people are cheap and dumb. That is the problem. Is they don't want to do their own research. If you tell people, hey, massive lockdowns are actually the majority awful for us. I don't mean like awful mentally, that of course, but like it actually does nothing. Like the science does, it's not there. None of this is backed in anything, right? This is backed in pure control and power. So when you show people the data for the mask and lockdowns and how they don't do anything, people go like, you're a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, well, I'm showing you.
Yeah,
I'm showing you
exactly it.
data. I'm actually showing you because they're so ingrained in what they want to believe. And this isn't everybody, but most people like CNN told me, Fox News told me. Okay. Neil and I were talking about this the other day. And Neil, by the way, not a libertarian. Neil is a fucking Democrat. He's a fucking lefty, but he is not like, he doesn't watch CNN. He doesn't go on Twitter. Like, he's not, dumb in
He
that
has the
way.
real beliefs of what it is.
He no, he'll at least look up for some stuff for himself. He's not perfect. I still think he could do better, but like, he's not as bad as a lot of these other people. So we were both saying how the other day, like CNN, Fox News, like they shouldn't be allowed to have the word news in their name
They're entertainment.
because it's entertainment. It's not news. But they're posing as a news network. Both of them, all of them, MSNBC, CNN,
Well,
Fox News,
that's
all of them,
that's
right?
that's how they get out of lawsuits. Is that Fox News, when they were taken to court, all they would say is, "Well, we're not news, we're entertainment." But it's like,
Right.
it's in your name. Doesn't matter. We
Right.
classify ourselves as entertainment, so that's how
Right.
they get out of
Right.
lawsuits.
But the problem, and that's the problem, is no one knows that. No one's watching that. Right? We talked about this on the Porcupine the other day. If the New York Times will, on purpose, front page headline, put out something they know is false, but it's going to drum up their agenda, right? Then they know they're going to have to retract it. But this is what all these papers do. It's genius and it works. They blow out that headline for 4 days, right? Whatever it is, like pigeons are evil, right? And they know pigeons aren't evil. They know that. But let's say their agenda is to make people scared of pigeons, okay? For 4 days, they're gonna be like, pigeons are evil, pigeons are evil, pigeons are evil, for all the talking heads on CNN. Pigeons are evil.
It's
Every
gonna be a
front.
goddamn slaughter of
And then
pigeons.
5 days go by, and then someone's like, oh, actually, we meant eagles. And then New York Times is like, my bad. And they print the retraction, one sentence, this big, and the 6th page of the newspaper, and going, we actually fucked about that pigeon thing. Now, what do you think you think people saw more of? That retraction or that initial 4-day headline?
The initial 4-day headline.
Exactly. And that's how it works.
Do you have like I could take a test online to tell if I'm a Gryffindor or Slytherin. Do you have a test that you could give
Yeah,
me about
we can
being a
do it right
libertarian?
now, and it's actually a minute. It'll actually be pretty fun to do for you on the podcast.
Okay, what is it?
It's here, I'll send it in the chat. I gotta find it online first. It'll be 2 seconds. It's called the world's smallest political
World's
test.
smallest penis. Damn it.
I already won. No. Here. It's literally, if you want, dude, I'll ask you the questions for you.
Just do it. Yeah, do that.
Okay. So these are all agree, maybe, or disagree. Okay. So just give me an agree, maybe, or disagree. And they're all vague. So government should not censor speech, press, media, or internet.
Agree.
Military service should be voluntary. There should be no draft.
Agree.
There should be no laws regarding sex between consenting adults.
There should be no law. Wait, read that one again.
There should be no laws regarding sex between consenting adults.
If they're consenting, then agree.
Right. Repeal laws prohibiting adult possession and use of drugs.
What does that mean?
Make drugs legal for adults.
Yeah, I mean, if you're old enough to make your own damn decisions.
Government should not target, detain, and deport undocumented workers.
Government should not detain.
Should not target, detain, and deport undocumented workers. Agree, maybe disagree.
Agree.
I think you'd be more libertarian than me, bro. Taxpayers should not be responsible for student loan debt.
Read it. All right, reread that one.
Taxpayers should not be responsible for student loan debt.
Agree.
Government should not be responsible for providing health care.
Disagree.
We'll talk about that. Let people control their own retirement. Privatize Social Security.
Yeah, I'd agree. It depends. They should be able to choose their own retirement, I think, because if you leave that in the hands of somebody else, nobody's telling you, you're gonna have.
Exactly. Replace government welfare with private charity.
Replace government welfare with private charity. Agree.
Cut taxes and government spending by 50% or more.
All right, reread that one. I
Cut
completely
taxes and government spending by 50% or more.
agree.
Now, for that, government should not be responsible for providing healthcare. Definitely disagree. You think government should provide healthcare?
From a situation where there might be someone that might not be able to have a good job that has a good health.
So you want to put
plan.
maybe then maybe?
Yeah, let's put maybe.
Okay.
I only heard two options of agree and disagree. I don't
No,
ever
agree,
do
maybe
maybe.
disagree. Yeah. Okay. Bonus question. Before we show you results, which of these do you think best reflects your views? Libertarian, progressive, moderate, conservative, authoritarian, unsure.
Unsure. I have no fucking clue.
Boom. All right, here we go. I know where you're gonna land. I have a real strong idea.
Jesus.
No, yep, you are a lefty libertarian.
Is that bad or good? You said the word
No,
lefty, I think of like
it-
emotional.
No, because it's the government, it's the welfare thing. It's the healthcare thing. That's what made you so your personal issues score is 100 and your economic issues score is 90 as in libertarian wise. So you're like 100% libertarian personally, you're 90% libertarian economically. And I was a little bit the other way around. So I'm a little more, if you, there's a chart, there's a political chart and it has 4 quadrants on it. And
Did I score good or bad in the Porcupine rating?
good.
Okay,
Very good. Very good. I'll explain the healthcare thing in a minute. So there's a 4 quadrant chart and it's authoritative right, authoritative left, economic right, economic left. Okay. And I lean more economic right. You lean more economic left.
I'm coming from a perspective where I had a hard time trying to get my medical, even the medical insurance, like even if it is government provided, it's never good. Like the one I have is not good. It took me forever to get the medication I need, 2.5 years to the point where I finally got it. They didn't even give me they gave me a phone call apology saying, sorry, we couldn't make it to your court date after 5 times of them not showing up. They finally gave me it. So I look at it like, I don't want anybody that needs maybe medical aid to have to pay out of their pocket for something that could be like my buddy's baby had a seizure or started like, I guess, inhaled or was throwing up all over the place. He had to pay a $500 thing. That's with the copay. And I'm like, that's very difficult for a person that might not be making a whole lot of money to be able to do, which I'm like, this just should be assistance in that. But I get the aspect of you can't just make everything free because then people will be doing dumb shit and getting free healthcare.
Well, nothing's free. Nothing's free.
Okay.
We're paying for it. You're paying for it. I'm paying for it. It's not free. So that's a word that has to leave everybody's fucking mind. Literally nothing is free, especially with government. Nothing is free. Someone's paying for it and it's not them. It's us.
That's better for our taxes to go to free Medicare or healthcare for a lot of people compared to all the other shit we do. Where
sure, but
$1.3 trillion just lost to the Pentagon. I don't know where the fucking receipts went.
It was 3.3. But
oh god damn.
So the problem with the government healthcare. Okay, so you know what the 3rd largest healthcare provider in the country is
Canada.
Right now? It's GoFundMe.
That's true. That's where a lot of my merch sales are going towards right now is a GoFundMe.
Exactly. So that's private. There's okay. So healthcare isn't like the hill I die on in libertarianism. Like, it's not like really what I invest a lot of my time in, because there are other people that do that stuff. So, but this is like the very bare bones of why government healthcare is not good. You can't do anything about it. There's no incentive to do a good job for you. You can't sue them. And if they do, like you said, they just won't show up. Like,
oh shit. Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Right. So there's no incentive to do a good job. There is none. There's no incentive to provide for you. They say there is, but there isn't. You can't do anything about it. Just like your potholes in the street. If I had a pothole, I can't sue the city to fix my car. They're like, yes, that sucks, dude. It's the same thing. So if you stop taxing people, okay, we would all have more money in our bank and in our checks. Now, if you come to me and you're like, hey man, I have heart disease, right? I go, I know Robbie. I'm gonna give Robbie $2,000 out of my money that I have extra now, and I know where it's going. It's going to you. Right now, it's set up where my money just fucking goes. And it goes to
Oh,
war. It goes to
shit.
fucking people who don't deserve welfare. It goes to people who don't deserve Medicaid. It goes to a lot of things. The amount of people that need it, I guarantee this is a fucking complete backed by no stats. This is how I feel. I bet you more people don't need Medicare than need it.
Yeah.
Because the way the system's set up. Like that's the thing. If the system wasn't set up this way, no one would need it. Almost no one would need it. But if you have private companies, you could donate to private companies. They could handle things for you. There's incentive to do a good job because they have competition with other private companies. You know what I'm saying? There's reasons to, like GoFundMe takes a fucking cut. That's their incentive to do
Yeah.
a good job.
Well, you can choose to give them money. That's the second thing they ask is, would you like to give money to
Yeah, but
GoFundMe?
I think they take a certain percentage no matter what. GoFundMe.
That's would you agree with the statement that government has full control and no matter how they spin it, they'll still get you to do what they want for a
Yes.
lot of people?
Look at the last year and a half.
Yeah, because I look at like people go like the government's not forcing you to do these things. I'm like, no, but they're distorting the perceptual view of a lot of people to do something to where they're basically making you fight against each other. It's kind of like if you have a bunch of dogs, you just don't feed them to the point they're hungry where they're willing to fight each other. You know, that's
Mhm.
exactly what's going on in this country right now. And I look at that and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I look at the aspect of like when someone tells you to jump off a bridge, do you jump off a bridge? No. Then when someone tells you to take a fucking needle into your arm, and you still there's no difference between lessened side effects. Here's my buddy said this best to me. He goes, you know what the vaccine and unvaccinated conversation is? And I go, what is it? He goes, somebody walks up to you that you're unvaccinated, somebody walks up to you with the vaccine and goes, I want you to get the vaccine, Adam. I really care about you. I really want you to survive. I want to make sure that, you know, if you do get it, you don't get all these symptoms or all these types of things. Well, I'm pretty healthy. I'm not really worried about the thing. Why don't I not get it? And then you worry about yourself. Well, fuck you. I hope you die and get COVID.
Yep.
That's exactly the argument.
Yeah, well, they're hypocrites. So white elite liberals, or people who even look at themselves as like a white coastal elite liberal, are the most vile racist people on the planet. And I'll die on that hill. So they're awful, most of them. They're the ones who won't live next to a black person. They're the ones who don't have any black friends. They're the ones who will stick up for black people, which is condescending as fuck. If you're a white person and you think you have to speak on the behalf of black people, that's the most racist, condescending shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's the woke shit is actually more
Yeah,
racist than it is.
it's
Like
it's the most racist shit I've ever heard in my life.
somebody told me I'm white and I need to pay for the things that happened in the past or whatever. And
Suck
I'm
my
like,
dick. That's what I say to that.
what the fuck
Also,
is that?
going back to the whole needle jab thing, that's what I say to that. Cool. Then you can't get abortions because you're killing a baby.
Are they pro
My body, my
abortion?
choice, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't go both ways. It's called hypocrisy. And that's why I'm consistent in my beliefs. That's why people fucking hate us or hate me anyway. And a lot of libertarians who are honest, and like Dave Smith and guys like that. Because I'm like, no. If you want to get abortions, that's fine. But let's be honest what you're doing. Let's be honest what you're doing. If I don't want to get the shot, that's fine. But like, you can't come and make me do it. I can't
Yeah.
make you have a baby. You can't make me get a shot.
The weird part is like I have a bunch of people messaging me like they're fearful of the fact that it's going to be a door-to-door thing. Like, why the fuck are you coming to my doorstep? And I see a lot of people with the pushback of it. But like the White House denied it being mandatory. I'm like, eventually the pendulum's going to shift where there's going to be more people that are vaccinated than unvax. And then it's going to hit this breaking point where it's now you're going to fucking get it. You're not going to have a job here anymore. And
Call I 100% call your employer's bluff. 100%. If you are somebody, this isn't for you, anybody else out there. If you're unvaxxed and you don't want to take it, and your employer's like, "We'll fire you," call their fucking bluff. Make them fire you, Make them fire you, sue the balls off them, go on fucking unemployment, and watch them struggle because 30% of the workforce isn't going to have a vaccine. So good fucking luck. Good luck running your fucking business, you fucking retard.
About to say, because a couple people down here in Ocean City have already started doing that for restaurants and stuff. If you don't have a vaccine and you're not gonna,
Good
they're
luck getting
done.
hired. Good luck. Good luck running your business. Good luck. They will fail within a year. I guarantee it.
Well, that was the
Because that's
biggest
how economics
article.
work.
That was the biggest article that was published in. It was trending on Twitter for a while. Was about the restaurants owners' pushbacks to the vaccine thing, and they were talking about. And I look at this like, man, are you? Is this just one person that you paid a lot of money, and then you got a person to say, well, it's a restaurant owners? It's like, or is it just one restaurant owner that you paid money to say this type of thing?
Right.
Because you start to look at like the media, they say the same shit, but they play it in such a way that favors their side. Like we talked about Tucker Carlson off air. I'm not a fan of his. I don't have
He's
anything.
okay. He's okay.
He reminds me of a Nancy Grace, and I don't like Nancy Grace. Just because I
some
think
of his takes are good. He was good against the lockdowns. He was good against like the police being bad. Like he was good against some of that stuff. Like I'm not gonna again. I'll shit on him for things I didn't like, but he's also pretty good on some stuff. So I can't fully hate on the dude.
I'd have to watch more. I've only seen bits and pieces, and I just see his face, and like I just see your face.
His face is annoying. It's punchable. It's a punchable face.
It's a punchable face.
And very punchable face.
He came out about the NHO or what is it? The NSA.
The NSA.
That was reading his messages, and he said it live on air, and then not even a week later, he's trending all over the place, and people are hating the shit out of him.
Well, they called him a crazy conspiracy theorist, but then a week after he talked about it, there was reports is actually like confirmed. So that's what I'm saying. It's they're not conspiracies. My new favorite quote is what's the difference between a conspiracy and the truth? 6 months to a year. Because it starts off a conspiracy, and 6 months later, just like the fucking lab, right? Just like the lab shit, which me and a lot of people back 18 months ago are like, this is probably bullshit. It's not bullshit, like it's real, but I mean, it's shady as fuck. And then 18 months later, you have Fauci, that fucking criminal, sitting on Congress at the Senate seat, being lambasted by Rand Paul, being like, why do you put money into it?
Yeah, people were like looking at him snap back at Rand. That's everything was snapping back at Rand Paul or not taking his shit. But did you see his fucking hands? His hands were shaking like someone who's about to get into a fight. Someone that's scared.
But do you see what you said it? Oh, Twitter, because Twitter is fucking liberal. Everything's so left leaning. They're all like, do you see him snap back at Rand Paul? It's like, no, the real story is Rand Paul was trying to save America. That's the story, but they're gonna make it out to be Dr. Fauci's a boss, like he's a boss king. Look at him fucking tell Rand Paul he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Rand Paul got attacked a few years ago in his own backyard by
punctured his fucking lung. I want to know what happened with that.
And people cheer that guy on. They're like, good, too bad he didn't do more. Like, this is the left.
I know, I heard it.
By the way, Rand Paul's father, Ron Paul, is like my fucking hero. Okay. Ron Paul is the reason I'm a libertarian.
Can I read you something off the FO? So this is off the Freedom of Information Act, state.gov. So this was an article that was, and this isn't just one country that's saying this. This is like 7, 8, 9 countries that I could see going back to like December 2019, talking about the lab. And one thing says, monitoring leads to lack of freedom. Those who are not free are not creative. Those who are not innovative do not invent anything. This is why you have made your country the world champion in theft of intellectual property. China enriches itself with the inventions of others instead of inventing itself. The reason for this is that you are not letting the young people in your country think freely. The biggest Chinese export hit that nobody wanted, but that went around the world anyway, is corona. When you, your government, and your scientists had to know long ago that corona is transmitted from person to person, you left the world in the dark. Your top experts did not answer the phone, did not answer any email when Western researchers wanted to know what was going on in Wuhan. You were too proud of a nationalist to tell the truth that you felt that the nation, that this was a national disgrace. And this was like a lot of stuff got referenced into the Washington Post, but then it leads down into like, I was like, okay, well then there's an article from 2017 to 2021. The WIV has a published record of conducting gain-of-function research to engineer chimeric viruses, but the WIV has not been transparent or consistent about its record of studying viruses most similar to COVID-19 virus, including RATG13, which it sampled from a cave in Yunnan province in 2013 after several miners died of SARS-like illness. WHO investigators must have access to records of WIV's work on bat and other coronaviruses before the COVID-19 outbreak. As part of a thorough inquiry, they must have a full accounting of why why the WIV altered and then removed online records of its RATG13 and other viruses. Why would you remove records if you're doing research? I bring up this question and people go, "You're a fucking nut. That's a Trump thing." I'm like, this was way
Not
before all of
pe-
that shit.
people have to let go of the Trump shit. It's like it's a virus to people, man. It's a legitimate virus in their brains. Like, remember when Trump was like, "I have a vaccine." People are like, "I will never take the Trump vaccine." That's what they're taking right now. It's the Trump vaccine. That's what was being produced when he was in
But
presidency,
now
and then
Biden's pushing it, so that's their
right. So
excuse.
it's fine now. That's what I'm saying. It's a joke. These people are a fucking joke. Oh, you know who DARPA is, right?
Yeah.
For anybody that doesn't know what their Defense Advanced Research Project, whatever the fuck they stand for. So the DARPA is the government's, like, that's like where they test all the secret weaponry. That's like the program. That's like that's what DARPA is. That's not a conspiracy. That's a real thing. People work for DARPA. It's not like a conspiracy. That's just the program. DARPA funded um the Moderna vaccine in like 2015 or something like that.
Okay.
Is that not weird to anybody?
I find
You
it
know?
I find it weird that we decided to take a second look back into the lab and they denied it. And then I also find it weird that that area that is known to only China is only known to have earthquakes got hit by 2 tornadoes across the street from the
Yeah.
black market and nearby closer to the lab. You start to look at like what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you back in the 70s when the Congress wanted to do an audit of Fort Knox because they didn't believe we have gold there and we don't. And they were like, "We have gold there," and they were like, "Let us see," and they said no. They told Congress no. Like, the military was like, "No," and they finally let him in. And this is what they did. This is on film. You can watch it. It's very interesting. They had a few congressmen and senators, and they walked them into one room that had gold in it, and they said, "Look, there's gold. Get the fuck out." And they're like, "What about all these other rooms?" They're like, "Nope, get out."
Um,
Like, they show you what they want to show you. Is my point.
yeah, and that's the thing is like why our escalations with China and everything. And one of our sanctions did work. We had a sanction that happened that apparently actually messed up some Chinese business or exports of them getting cheaper goods sold. They were actually going to cost us more money. It was going to be easier on them and they were going to get more money back. That now that one of those sanctions worked, there's a bunch of other countries that are now imposing some of the same similar sanctions. And now China has a big issue with that as well, too. But I was like, isn't it also a fact that the WHO head leader has even said that we want to look back into it? And they decided
Well,
no.
the Who's corrupt as fuck. All these, I don't care what they say. That's the thing, is like, I don't care what they say. The Who's like, you should. I don't care. I know you're corrupt. I know you don't. It's not. Nothing here is science. Again, if it was, we wouldn't be where we are. If this was legitimate science, we would never would have went to lockdowns. Never would have wore masks. It's bullshit. It's all bull. It's not science. So when the WHO says shit, CDC is like, we should start wearing masks. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You lying traitors. You're not telling the truth, and I will not believe you. I'll never believe them. I'll never believe them. Sorry. And it's not my fault. That's their fault for lying to everybody so long. You know what the government did during Prohibition? I mean, besides banning all the alcohol, they poisoned alcohol to stop people from drinking alcohol, and they killed 100,000 people in the process. Don't fucking sit here and tell me the government's out for your good. They're not. Do people know what the Tuskegee experiments are?
CDC funded that.
Yeah, but the government. So if people don't know, the Tuskegee experiments were, they injected a bunch of poor black people from the South with syphilis to see what the effects untreated syphilis would do to them. So
This
good
is
job, government.
well, this isn't just a CDC thing. This isn't just a this is a known thing to do when people want to explore something that like people blame I had a guy tell me that, the lab thing's crazy. And I'm like, why? And then he goes, because science didn't cause this. I'm like, no, science didn't cause this. What caused this is people being too fucking curious about something they probably shouldn't be researching into and then trying to manipulate it to be able to do something that they're not even ready to fucking handle yet. There's a bunch of people where there's an article in the FOIA website that you can look up where it talked about China's response to their emergency unit. They were completely underestimated the virus and wasn't able to handle it. They thought that their emergency team could easily squash it out. They were doing a test run of it. Didn't fucking plan out well. And then now we're in kind of the situation that we're in now is their idea and how you kind of read these documents. But why do I sound fucking crazy in a conspiracy person if I even say that when everyone else is like, you're a fucking nut job for even thinking that?
Because they're so fucking just blue pilled and
And how many people said, I can't believe Biden bombed over there? Biden can't read off a fucking script. Do you think he's really doing the moves here? Really?
Yeah, I know. No, it's not him. Yeah, he's he's a puppet, dude.
So what's the
Straight up.
best way to try and show this to a bunch of people without sounding like the odd man out in every conversation when it
Dude,
comes
there's
to
no way.
this? There's got to be a way.
No, there is no way. The only way is you can't come at him too hard. That's the best approach.
But here's the
Gotta
thing
ease
that,
into it.
here's what's going to piss me off is the fact that when you say all this stuff about the lab, whatever, and then it ends up, what happens if it ends up being true? What are
It
they
is
going to give
true.
you?
But
What are
no, it
they,
is true. It's
well, what are
already
they going to
true.
give you as a response when it does come out as being
It's
true?
always something, dude. Okay, let me.
Well, that's
okay,
been known
so
to happen is the response.
So if you go on Twitter right now, there's a tweet going around that's like, I have the new Delta variant. I don't understand. I have both shots. I've been wearing a mask. I've been staying 6 feet apart, and now I have coronavirus. It's a bot. That tweet has been tweeted out by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of accounts. Why? Tell me, if this is a real fucking threat to everybody and we really needed this, why would there be so much of an agenda push to make people get it?
You would think if it's not an FDA approved vaccine, you think the whole world, after all we've experienced in a fucking year, you think the FDA wouldn't put all their fucking time and money into that to make that approved as possible?
But again, Robbie, even the FDA, what's the FDA? A bunch of people in a government positioning telling you it's good. So you're who cares what they say?
I'm not saying that, but I say that's the point. Like, that's the point I'm trying to make. The thing is, like, everyone's swaying something to their argument. Like the leader of the House, the redhead, the one that talked about how the vaccine was FDA approved. It's not. But she said it because she was trying to get it out there because it was swaying to her point and only improving her points. Nobody's talking about that. But instead, I'm seeing Snapchat stories of some fucking guy that goes off about, look how Fox completely look like a fucking fool. I'm like, when are you going to talk shit on the other networks? Are you just talking shit on one?
It's hypocrisy, dude. I mean, it's all hypocrisy, and that's what's a bummer. They don't care. They don't care. The truth doesn't exist. Morals don't exist. Ethics don't exist. It's about money and power. And if you think it's anything else, sorry, but everyone out there, you're fucking dumb. It's about money and power. They do not care about you. No one cares about you but you. And like, the sooner people realize that, the better off you'll be. And I don't mean like your wife or spouse or boyfriend, mother. I don't mean they don't care about you. I mean, you only truly know what's best for you. Only you do. I know what's best for me. You know what's best for you. My wife knows what's best for her. Everyone really knows what's best for themselves. For people to put their body autonomy, their freedoms, their families into the arms of strangers because they work in government makes you a fucking piece of shit. I'll say it. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care. You're a piece of shit, and you're abusing your children. If you're masking your child, that's child abuse. Sorry, it's child abuse.
It's funny how many people want to defund the police, but they'll line up to another person that's just wearing a suit.
Yep. They choose their daddies.
Well, it's the daddy that fits their narrative.
Right, exactly. And I don't like a daddy. I like my dad. That's it. I don't need any other daddies. I'm a fucking full-grown adult man. Thank you. I'll handle it. I don't need to be told what to fucking do. I don't need to be told where I can and can't go. The only thing I can't do is touch other people's property and hurt other people. That's what I can't do. No one can. And no one should be able to do that. That's the fucking 2 rules. That's the NAP. That's non-aggression principle right there. Don't hurt people. Don't take their shit.
Is this how the Porcupine goes?
Pretty much.
It seems like you guys have a better structure when I listen to the show. It's a little bit like...
No, well, the Porcupine's more me interviewing people.
Okay. Do you enjoy that?
Yes and no.
You don't like asking the questions, you like the free conversation flow?
No, I do like asking, because like a lot of these people, I've always like they've been fans of mine in Liberty Movement. Not fans of mine. I've been fans of theirs. I'm sorry, like fans of theirs in Liberty Movement. So it's cool talking to them, and I've always wanted to ask questions to these people if I ever had the opportunity. So it was cool asking that. But then I also hate like just the solid format sometimes. I'm like, I asked like 4 questions, and it was like that.
What's one of your questions?
I ask everybody this, no matter what. I say, what brought you into the Liberty Movement? That's usually the first thing I ask everybody. because I think it's important to know like why you became a libertarian or like what made you, even if you're not a libertarian, but like you're a liberty person, like what made you, care about liberty, what made you care about the freedoms and shit.
I
And
just
then
don't see the pointless fighting of people fighting each other over dumb shit when the real power is held in all these people that are slowly just manipulating everything and we're not doing it. Nobody's seeing that shit. I'm like, I feel like I legit, like I said, smoking crack or taking crazy pills. I'm
I know.
looking at it like, what the fuck? Does nobody see that they're doing this shit or doing this shit? And everyone's like, what are you talking about? It's like, are you not focused on the real things? It feels like I entered the matrix and I'm like, I don't know why I'm seeing this. Maybe I'm a schizo.
No, we're right. It's just that when we say we're right, we sound cocky, but I'm like, I just know. Like this is hard. This sounds cocky when I say it, but like libertarianism, the philosophy is the greatest philosophy to ever enter mankind. I truly believe that. Like, I mean, I really do. I really believe that libertarianism, the philosophy of it, is the best thing for humanity.
But you can ask the simple questions to anybody. Would you be more than happy if you did this or you typed in this comment and that person blew their head off? There's the people that will question, how do I know that's going to happen? There's the people that'll say, no, I don't ever want that to happen. I think deep down, nobody ever wants anybody to hurt themselves off the basis of what you say or the basis of what you do.
I
So
don't
with
think that actually.
who do
I
you
don't
think?
think that. I think some people, especially on the left, are so it's a cult because they. By the way, I'm not religious. I don't believe in like a Christian God. I don't believe in necessarily God either.
I believe
I'm
you're
more
gone.
agnostic. I don't know how the fuck we got here. Is my point. But a lot of lefties reject God and they reject like a belief because they think it's stupid. But they fall right into. But their new God becomes government, which is worse in a lot of ways, right? A lot of ways because it's tangible. Government's tangible. It's there. You can touch it. God's a concept. You can't really grasp it. But these people put all their stock into a physical thing that could hurt you, that could hurt you, that could hurt me. I can't really hurt you with God unless I physically kill you in the name of God. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These cunts could fucking vote people in power that could hurt me. That's the difference. So they're like, God's stupid. Thank you, Kamala Harris, you fucking queen. Like, that's what they do. Like, their new God is cult government.
Do you notice that
So
we haven't
I
really?
think I'm sorry, but I think they that gets so ingrained in them that becomes their evil, where they get so hated, they hate so much, they really truly believe. Even someone like me, who I don't fucking care about Trump. I'm not conservative. I'm not Republican. I vote Libertarian. I'm Libertarian. They'll think I'm an alt-right Nazi and they want me dead because I don't believe that there's 100 genders or whatever the fuck. Like
Well,
you get it? Like that's a real feeling. They really want me dead because of that. Not all of them. Not all of them. Some of them.
it's strange because if you don't denounce Trump or if you
Yeah.
don't denounce anybody that doesn't side with what they view, then you're automatically seen as an enemy. And it's like that on the right with some things too.
Oh, for sure.
The rights are, which is weird because the right is kind of shifting a little bit more to the left, and the left is like not what I thought what the left was. The left has gone like completely aggressive. Like right was seen as aggressive. Right was seen as I want my
Yes.
freedoms. I want all this. Now it's like the left is seen as super aggressive because they want these types of ideas, and you don't understand or you don't like what they do, so now they have to make you by beating you upside the head like those or Antifa people that carry those
Hmm.
fucking frying pans around that literally because they can bash you upside the head with a frying pan because walking around with a bat you get in trouble.
Dude, Michael Malice said it the best. He said conservatives are progressives driving the speed limit.
That fucking guy.
But
I
he's
follow
right.
I follow him on Twitter. He just retweets everyone's hateful comments and
He's
fucking
great.
he's good at the fucking backlash stuff. That stuff's great.
I love Malice, dude. He's the man. But like he's right. So he's in other words like progressives are like uh you know everyone locked down and then conservatives like, hey, everyone locked down permanently in 2 years. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like they don't stand up for what they believe in either. They're fucking jokes. And by the way, the reason I didn't like Trump isn't the reason everyone wants me not to like Trump. Because the reasons they don't like him are lies. And I'm not a liar and I'm not dumb and I have thought. individual brain cells. And I go, oh, you're lying about all that shit. I didn't like him because he spent more money than any other president ever. And I'm a libertarian and I don't like government spending. And he didn't end the wars. And I think that's a war crime. He should be hung along with the other fucking last 3 presidents. But whatever. Now, if I tell people that, by the way, I just said Trump should be hung for war crimes along with Obama and Bush. And if I say that to people, because I didn't say Trump's bad orange man, that's not good enough.
That's literally the example I was going to say is you didn't denounce him. All you said is you want him hung.
Right.
I want to hear you say the words. He's an evil man.
Right. I'm actually saying these people should be tried for war crimes, which is true, and they should be. But nope, they don't care about that. That's what I said. The left, dude, they don't really care about people dying. If they did, they would be anti-war again, because lefts used to be anti-war. Now they're not. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck, dude. They want war. The fact that we bomb innocent brown babies constantly and no one gives a shit, like overseas, like Middle Eastern babies, no one cares. No one fucking cares on the left. Ask a lefty, hey, do you care about the war for the last 20 years? They'd be like, well, Trump's bad. Cool, great job, man. Way to care. It's like,
do you think that's just because they're more worried about what's on the home front, which is the fact that like all the disparities that we do have, which I look at like, are they really like, for instance, I brought this up as a point. Now, I'm a minority in my town. If you want to talk about racism, I can get called a cracker left and right. Those really don't offend us.
Who cares, right?
But here's Shane McGillis said this. Shane McGillis says, but there is there is one word that they can say that does hurt us, and that is calling us racist. People flip the fuck out because that word is so drastic, and now it's getting thrown out. It's like losing meaning.
Well, so did Nazi. All that shit did. Well, yeah, but he's right. No, because it puts you on the immediate, especially because the left did a great job with changing the cultural climate with that word. And I don't mean great job as in a negative way. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, great job, dickheads. Like, they did a great job that way. So now if you get called a racist, you're like, what the fuck? That's not even the argument. Because it derails your argument. You could be arguing about anything. And they're like, racist. You're like, what? Now you have to defend yourself. And then they skate away with their bullshit argument for the topic that you're arguing about. How you should really defend yourself for every white person out there. If you're trying to, unless you're being a racist asshole, then you deserve it, right? But if you're not, and you're just having a conversation, someone's like, you're racist, go, cool, great. Actually, we're gonna keep talking about this though. Don't acknowledge it. Just go, cool, and just keep talking. Don't, because as soon as you go, you lost.
I was trying to figure, did the media just get changed by the left? Did the left just consume media, or did the media just realize the left are more active in what they'll be able to spread the propaganda out?
No, the left was always media. It was always left. It was always journalism, colleges. It was very always Ivy League. That's not ever a right thing ever. It was never a right thing. But if you want to talk about Operation Mockingbird, I mean, that's a real thing. Operation Mockingbird was a CIA program from the 50s that embedded CIA operatives in every single major news organization in the country.
Well,
it's true. It's not a conspiracy. Look it up. Everybody can Google that. You don't have to go that. You can Google that right now.
Well, Operation Timber Sycamore was the idea of transmitting weapons to Cuban or rebels to be able to rise up against Castro. Well, to be able
that was Northwoods. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To be able to rise up against Castro, and then they all turned their weapons around, and we lost, I think, over like 500 something, 500 or 5,000 assault rifles, and all these random weapons that just flooded the black markets, which we're dealing with today.
Yeah, well, we are the black market, essentially, the U.S. That's a whole other fucking.
Well, we take things at face value. Like when people say about the lab leak thing, like people go, well, Fauci, I was like, they were probably already researching it. Fauci decided, I'm going to hop onto this research train by funding some of it, so you guys will give me some of the data you guys have. But I don't think he really knew what it was going to be intended for. And I think the true plan, like they were only letting us in 10% of the argument or at 10% of the information. I think the real plan was to turn it into a biological weapon to attack us. They left out the attack us part. They kept the biological weapon part in, but they left out the attack us. And now we're kind of all fucked in this situation of a stewing pot that we're sitting in.
Well, yeah.
It happened with 9/11. We trained Osama bin Laden and a bunch of these people to do these flight courses to be able to do this attack against Russia and fucking it because what happened to us?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do a whole 9/11 thing. 9/11 is
I studied the shit out of it, so I'm deep into that.
yeah, but what they're telling you is a lot of it's not true.
Why did
A lot of it's
why did
not
the
true.
Bush not want the 9/11 commission report to be made? And then when it did become made, he appointed someone to run the whole thing, and that dude left after a
Oh, the
month
Warren
because of
Commission
personal
was set up to
conflicts.
fail 100%. They say that though,
They
right?
left the funding out, and then they
Yeah.
didn't give them an extra 60 days, which ended up being passed. I
I'm
want to
not
know
talking
what
about
they're
that stuff.
hiding.
I'm talking about like I don't even know. This is so controversial. It's probably when you really start looking into this stuff and you
Am I
really
really a
start to do.
libertarian?
No, yes, yes.
Or am I
No, but I'm saying
brainwashed?
once you really start to look into this stuff, you might some of it's like, oh, I don't even know if Osama had anything to do with it. Like it was kind of sounds like it was the Saudis and the Mossad and
Well,
the deep state. That's
that's
kind of what it sounds like.
in that episode with Josh I was telling you about. He was telling me about it in the recording is that Saddam Hussein or not Saddam Hussein was seen as a warlord, a person with a pitchfork attacking other people. We push the blame onto him. Osama did it for religion. Osama did it for praise in the afterlife, which is so weird because we chased after him. And then why would you send somebody out to fucking sea to die who was like supposed to be on dialysis or some shit?
Yeah. They think he was dead like years before they killed him.
It's a fucking fall guy. It's a person's like,
Yeah.
hey, we pushed you to the blame, but we also put it on this guy too, saying he was the real person with weapons of mass destruction, which didn't have weapons of mass destruction. So you start looking at it like, okay, now are we just using giant 9/11 scenarios or these types of drastic things to get a secret agenda across? And like people even saying that, people go, you're a nut job. It's like, well, if you fucking look at it, there's a lot of shit that is not explained. Am I the only one that wants to know why there isn't any of that in there? Why, when I go on the FOIA website, there's no JFK articles, there's no 9/11 articles, there's a bunch of lab articles, but none of them are telling you anything from us. It's everything from every other country.
Did you ever see this? This is going deep. Did you ever see the dancing Israeli video?
No.
Good luck finding it, man, because it's probably been scrubbed. But like, I've seen it. I've seen it. So I confirm it exists. I fucking seen it with my own eyes more than once. There's a video out there called the Dancing Israeli video where it was a bunch of Israeli men across New Jersey, the river from the towers. During the attacks, they were filming it, like they were ready for it, filming it, and then they were all celebrating when the towers got hit. Those guys then got arrested at the airport, I think, for some of them didn't have passports. Turns out they were Mossad agents, which is the Israeli CIA. How the fuck do they know?
Well, why were we planning a simulation on the day of 9/11? It's called, oh God, I'm going to
Yeah, I know what
blank
you're
on
talking about, though.
Project Vigilant. There's Project Guardian and Project Vigilant. Project Vigilant was a planned simulation on September 11th, 2001 in the morning about a simulated hijacking of an airplane crashing
Yeah,
into one of the trade towers. I
yeah,
think we got this warning about it in 1993 when the first missile hit the Pentagon. In 1993, we got a warning about this, and we never took it for face value. And why would you have to program a simulation? So that means you knew that this was a threat that had been sent to us. Maybe it took 10 years, but it was still a fucking threat. In 1993, they were talking about China. There's articles about China studying bioterrorism weapons, being able to manipulate viruses and such. When a lab was first invented or first created or first established, nobody took it at fucking face value. Everyone just fucking, okay, well, so, and then is it really like, I think everybody worries about the issue happening that around the months that it was created. Nobody ever thinks about the long game. This is a best way of playing fucking chess. Why is there
exactly.
a whole entire Russian institution where there's just trolls that'll get paid money to create fake accounts online and spark up animosity between a country and its people? The best way to make a country fall apart for takeover is by making everyone in the country divided amongst each other. That is a great military strategy, and
Yeah,
I do not think it. I'm not even saying fuck those people. I'm saying bravo to you for fucking manipulating us that much. That's our fault as people for letting
we
that
are. We're
fucking
dumb.
shit happen.
Yeah. Oh, talk about also, the day of the Sandy Hook shooting, there's also like a local, there were local event management, whatever the fuck they call them over there. They were also running a test that day, like a training that day for school shootings.
I'm saying is like,
It's very weird. It's happened more than once, is my point.
but how many times in an article, even in the commission report for 9/11, said coincidence, and it was in parentheses, and I was like, okay,
Right.
how much of like this shit, like, do you start questioning, like, if it's a duck and it, or if it's a dog, you know it's gonna bite you when it bit you the first time, the second time, a third time, you're gonna go pet it a fourth time, right on its mouth, knowing
Well,
that there's a possible chance it's gonna bite you.
even what's the dude on the building? Silver, right? Whatever his name is. Every day he would eat lunch at like eat breakfast like a very specific time in his office at like 9 a.m. And that day he was like, I'm gonna go take a walk with my family.
Hmm.
Nowhere near here. It's like you know the story of obviously you know the story of the Titanic, obviously.
I had a sea underwater archaeologist on the podcast, so I hope I know that one.
Okay, well, I bet you he won't tell you this because I bet you'd be like, it's fucking bullshit, but look into it. They think the Titanic that sank was not the real Titanic. That was the Olympia.
Yeah, I know that. And
Yeah. Okay. So for listeners out there, real quick, JP Morgan of JP Morgan Chase, that guy, he owned the Olympia, which was like a running down piece of shit cruise line, essentially. And he was like, huh, I got the Titanic being built. Let's say the Titanic goes down. I get a shit ton of insurance money. I'll still have the real Titanic. We'll just slap Titanic on the Olympia. That shit will go down. And then boom, I get fucking paid out and I saw the real boat. I'll build a second boat and then keep that. That was his plan. He was supposed to be on the maiden voyage of the ship. And then day of, he's like, you guys go. People that he sent on that boat were some of the people that were his competitors. They all died.
I was in belief of that too, but that was my first thought that I brought up. But then there's an article and also a person that's made massive amounts of wealth. He's a survivor of the Titanic. He was actually knocked off and landed into the water, and actually a woman on one of the life vessels that also confirms his story as well too. There are a bunch of people that did survive. She
Yeah.
was one of them, but she said, "That's my husband. I just lost my whole entire family on that fucking boat. I want to take my husband. Don't let me lose everyone." And then bringing him up on the ship, he woke up in a hospital, talks about it. She explains the story of what happened. He thought the boat had left because they said, we can't take on any more passengers or this boat will sink. They ended up taking on one passenger once he passed out from the freezing cold waters. And he wrote a whole book about it. I forgot the name of the guy. But I mean, it's see, that's the thing is like, even if that might be true or might not be true, there's no fucking clear answer because of how much there's been so much lies and deceit
Right.
within everything. It's all about money, power, and anybody willing to do whatever it fucking takes, no matter if it fucks up the rest of history.
Oh, they don't care. They don't care. As people have a hard time understanding. It's like they don't care. It's
Nobody,
not about that.
everyone gave a shit about the UAP or UFO thing, and then the UAP, and they released about aliens. Nobody gave a fuck because what did they throw in front of you? They threw a fucking COVID virus at you where more people are worried about getting food for their family. Even when the second stimulus check came out, what came out right after the second stimulus check came out? The red meat scare, where they
Right.
just hyped up red meat saying it was going to go out. And the next thing you know, all stores, you couldn't find red meat. And people spent most of their stimulus check thinking that food was going to be bare in the stores.
Mhm.
So they stocked up at home, bought freezers for it too. There was a new brand of freezer, mini freezers that you could put in your garage, a new brand that was coming out. Guess what? People bought that. Guess what happened to those freezers? They went up after a couple of months. All that food, all that money wasted. You just lost
Wasted.
$1,200.
Yep. Right back into the economy, I guess. But yeah, it's well, what's the best way to control the populace? It's fear. I always forget this guy, the fucking Nazi's name.
But
One
why
of
do
the
people love
dudes,
that fear narrative? People love that so much
they
that
don't
they don't
love
want you doing
they're
anything.
afraid. So one of the big Nazis after World War II, I forgot his fucking name, but it was during the Nuremberg trials, first right before they hung him.
Warner
Right before
von
they hung him.
Braun?
No, he
He
led
was
NASA,
yeah, he was
sir.
the hero.
He led
Are you
NASA, sir.
talking about the guy that hung the 5 slowest Jews out front of the
That's
rocket
Werner von
factory?
Braun. That is
Wow,
Werner von
really?
Braun.
And we let that okay.
Yeah, we're pieces of shit. No. This guy got hung. This guy got hung at Nuremberg, but he got caught. I forgot his name though. But they asked him. They're like, "How did you make so many people go become Nazis?" He's like, "We didn't make anybody become Nazis." He's like, "We made people fear. We put fear into people, which made them become Nazis on their own. That's how it works. You voluntarily push people through fear." So what they did was they went, Jews are scary. Jews are evil. They're gonna get you. And people were like, and they went, we're gonna protect you though. The Nazis, we're the good guys. And they went, oh my god, I gotta go join the Nazi party. I don't want to get fear. It's all fear.
I've
That's how it
met
works.
I've read many journals of people that were involved in the Nazis that ended up like not making it home or something like that, where they end up finding a journal. And there's a lot of articles and little parts in that thing where it starts talking about how a person's like, I'm in fear that I don't believe in what I'm doing anymore. This is horrible. I've seen too many people led into gas chambers, but I'm afraid for my family because they know where I live. They know that if I even defect or I say I'm not about this anymore, they're going to kill me and harm my family. The biggest fear for so many of those Nazis, and it's hard for people to put down their anger and hate just because Nazis is such a fucking powerful word, but to listen to the fact of how many people did not believe in what they were doing anymore, but were too afraid because
Yeah.
they thought their family was going to be killed.
Well, they would have actually. They did though. They did kill people who harbored you. Like, that was a thing. They weren't lying. They would, right? Like, Inglorious Bastards, right? At the very beginning, with the French guy hiding the Jewish family under his floorboards, like that happened, and then everyone got killed. They didn't just kill the Jewish family. They went,
Well,
you guys are dead, and
these
you guys
were
are fucking dead too.
these weren't Nazis that were harboring Jews. These were Nazis that didn't want to fight anymore. If you even said that you didn't want to fight anymore, they were
Oh
coming
yeah,
after
yeah,
your
of
fucking
course.
family.
Of course, dude. Well, yeah, of course. Oh yeah, well, so actual German soldiers, like the actual front line, yeah, a lot of those guys were like, yo, fuck this, I'm done. But a big myth, and this is sad, but a big myth is like people are like, oh, well, the Nazis at the camps, they didn't want to be there. Wrong. That was actually a consigned position. They wanted that position. Like, you had to be decorated to get there. Like, they weren't just throwing schlubs there. Like, you had to be a monster to be there. So like, that's the thing. If people say that, they go, oh, they didn't want to be there. Well, if that was true during the end of the war, they would have opened the fucking doors and been like, yo, get the fuck out. But they didn't. They actually, what a lot of these camps did, especially in Dachau and the other one, fucking the big one. You know, I can't think of it.
Auschwitz?
Yes, thank you. They just fucking shot and killed as many people as they could before they fled, because they were monsters and they wanted to be there and they wanted to inflict harm and pain.
Well, they were brainwashed too by a
No,
person
they
telling them they're
weren't
the enemy.
brainwashed. These people wanted to be there. These weren't like this. This is what I'm saying. These
Well, when we
weren't
go
like the
into another
regular.
country for like our veterans and stuff like that, what do they tell them? Well, you think you're fighting the enemy, but are they just people that we don't even really know what we're going over there for? How many people fought in one of these wars that really don't make any sense of why we're over there?
Yeah, I know. That's a hard thing, and a lot of libertarians that are with like I are in the party with me and stuff like that are vets who are like, yo, I went on there. I was 18. I didn't get it. I got over there. I was like, ah, fuck, and then now I'm killing fucking brown people for no reason. Like, I've been told that a lot, because every war, this is even going to be hard for people to hear. And I'm not too great with this, so I'm not even going to get into detail because I don't really know too much about the details on it. But like, there is an argument to be made that we didn't have to get involved in World War II. And like, I'm not good enough to
I
think
think
of why.
I had someone say that on a recent episode, and I told him, "Why don't you look up Operation Cherry Blossoms at Night?" And he Googled that, and I'm pretty sure we've touched on it a few times, but they were already planning an attack six
No,
months
no, no.
before.
Even outside of that, like, again, I heard someone who's really good on this topic talk about it one time, and they made a lot of good points. I can't remember. That's why I don't really want to harp on it, because I'm just saying. But I'll even give oh my god, World War II the pass. Every single conflict after World War II was complete nonsense.
I
Every
think
single one.
it's an aspect of we think that they're planning something against us, so we have to plan something against them, and that's
Not.
every country.
It's not. It's not that. It's, we want power and control, and we want positions in the globe, and we want things the way we want things. It's not about, we don't, that whole the domino effect in East Asia with communism is bullshit. They know it's bullshit back then. They know it's bullshit today. It's just just like everything else. It's just a way to get people to do what? Fear, to make them be able to do what? Whatever the fuck they want to do.
Well,
So the fear back then was communism, right? Communism's coming here through Vietnam. Shut the fuck up. No, it's not.
there's articles on the CIA website where they talk about 50 years ago, because it's all got to be 50 years when it's declassified and they can take all the
Yeah.
people who are involved in it out. But there's articles about China invading Taiwan, China invading Hong Kong, China invading all these things, similar to a lot of shit that's going on now. I'm like, this is why I talk about the long game. There's like this, there's a lot of shit that you can look back at our old records that are happening now. Now, has this always been happening? Sure. But it's like a slow crawl. Like, why is it still going on? You don't do something for this long unless you're still trying to get something out of it.
Yeah, well, that's my I shit on the right people who voted for Trump a lot with this. When I was like, how come Trump didn't end the wars? And I went, well, he tried. They went, stop. He's actually the only guy who could end it unilaterally himself. As a commander in chief, I'm not kidding. He could actually go, we're done.
Yeah. Well,
But he
Biden wanted
didn't.
to end it on 9/11 as a great homage to the day 9/11.
Hey, if you think he's gonna pull the troops out of 9/11, then also give me your bank account
I'm about to
because you
say
don't deserve
no.
money.
There's
No,
there's a,
I'm saying not you, but if you believe that, like, give me all your money because you
there's
don't
going to be
deserve to have
something
money.
that pops up out of nowhere, like, oh, we can't because this just happened. It's like, okay, all right.
Remember when Trump pulled the troops out of like the Kurdish area and all the liberals were like, they're gonna slaughter them, and then nothing happened? I'm like, you guys don't care about the Middle East. You don't care. Stop. You just hate Trump.
Who's the one guy that said ISIS is coming back, and everyone's like, shut the fuck up.
Shut the. No one's coming back. By the way, you know who made ISIS? Obama. Thank you.
Obama made ISIS?
Yeah. Power vacuum.
Oh. So
Yeah.
what's a easy way to not sound like a nut job when we talk about these types of things? Because even saying it, I understand,
I
I
know.
agree with you 100%. But at the same time, even someone's going to listen to this episode and be like, oh, fuck this. These guys are nuts. And they're going to shut it off.
It's fine. Hey, listen, you could bury your head in the sand like a fucking ostrich all you want. It's not going to make the stuff go away. Read into. Okay, you know what? I'll scale this all the way the fuck back. Fuck all the 9/11 shit. Fuck all the Saudi shit. Fuck all the COVID lab shit. Let's start with the evils of government, the very basics. And I go read these two. One of these books is 60 pages. It's very, very quick. Read an hour. Okay, an hour and a half.
60 pages is quick.
60 pages.
I did read 556 pages of the 9/11 Commission report. So
exactly. So this is nothing. Go read Anatomy of the State by Murray Rothbard. Everybody, Robbie, you too. It's, by the way, Mises.org.
Thank you for saying my name.
Go to Mises.org. It's free. It's a free PDF right now on Mises, MISES.org. Download the PDF, Anatomy of the State. It's free. And go read Hobbes, Hans Hermann Hobbes, Democracy, A God That Failed. Go read those two books.
You're gonna have to send that to me in a message.
I will.
Okay.
I'll put them right here.
What's the significance of both of these? Or was there three?
No, it's just two.
Okay. He said a lot of long title names. I was like, Jesus, I don't hope they sell it on Amazon.
Here, sent.
Democracy, A God That Failed, and Anatomy of the State.
They show you the evils of government and why they're morally irreprehensible to humanity and why they do no good. And it breaks down in simple, especially Anatomy of the State, dude. Especially Anatomy of the State. Simple terms. Very simple terms as to they're evil because of this. This is what they do that's evil. This is why. This is how it hurts you. This is how it hurts other people. It's very basic English. And it gets right to the point. Both those books. Also, another one for economics out there, read Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. I'll also put that.
He's got to, I was like, yeah, I forgot already. So you're telling me the government isn't what they say they are?
Correct.
And I'm listening to an oppressive system?
Correct.
Is there any way to fix it?
Privatize everything.
Privatize it.
Yeah.
Do you think
privatize
also with censorship?
hold on, privatize. I'm sorry, for real. Privatize everything. Repeal almost every single law we have. That's pretty much and abolish most public programs. So yeah.
Do you think that censorship, since it's gotten so big, do you think that nobody should be censored in these platforms that are might be like, because everyone's argument is like, well, they're self-owned corporations. I was like, yeah, but you've given them too much power as it is.
Right, Robbie. So you're correct. So this is the right now. It's the Biden administration's little trick is they go, we're not censoring any. Hey, we're the government. We would never break the First Amendment. But they tell Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok to ban people, which is like, so that's the thing people understand. These tech companies are directly working with the government hand in hand, which is, what is that called, everybody? Fascism. That's what actual fascism is. It's actually, yeah. So it's not what people think. It's not Trump, because Trump wasn't working with anything for corporate. It's true. He wasn't, right? They hated him. Biden, though, is working hand in hand with Facebook and stuff. And they're giving them, they're dictating policy. And they're hypocrites, because if I went on Facebook and said the vaccine doesn't stop the virus, I would get banned. But Joe Biden just said that a week ago on national TV. He said if you have the vaccine, you won't get the virus. Now, by Facebook's own standards, he should be banned, but he's not. Why?
You want to know something interesting?
Sure.
So YouTube has now started uploading or letting open to the public all of Joe Rogan's videos because his Spotify deal is going up. I started noticing because when I was doing the 9/11 thing, I was like, I wonder if Joe Rogan talked about it. Episode 9/11
deal is going up. What do you mean?
He only got $10 million or whatever or 60 million or was it 10?
He had
$100 million for a year.
That's it. They gave him $100 million for 1 year.
1 year. I don't know if he's going to reestablish his contract, but I started looking on YouTube. Every single video of his was off, and then he pulled
him. He had to.
So they're all up now. I was looking through and I saw there's Gavin McInnes available now. There's Alex Jones available now.
No, they left. On purpose, he left the big heavy hitter ones up there on YouTube.
No, every single one is up there now. Miley Cyrus is up there. How is that really? A heavy hitter?
Oh, you're right. My bad. Okay.
So I was like, I guess, because I know it was around this time is when I remember checking my phone for Apple and a Joe Rogan podcast. There was just one that was left up there, the one they uploaded that day. Everyone else was gone. And then I guess his Spotify deal went up and I was like, oh my God, like, so are they going to go for another one, or are they not going to want him back again? Because he did have a lot of people on there where it was like, there's like 10, 15 episodes of Joe Rogan's I've noticed that aren't on Spotify. And I'm like, you can't just skip over one. But I think with all this shit now, I don't know if they're going to renew their contract. And I look at like that Call Me Daddy podcast that I don't even fucking know what that one is.
That's from Barstool. That's a gigantic podcast too, dude. It's not as big as Rogan, but it's not pretty fucking big.
It's not good.
No, but it's still fucking very big. Very big. That chick, by the way, Alexa Cooper, I think she's from like Bucks County where I live. Like, I think my brother-in-law like
kidnapper.
No, I think my brother-in-law knows her through a friend of his. Like, he doesn't know her at all, but like kind of like a 6 degree separation thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but it's wild how like a lot of people are from Pennsylvania.
Mostly the Amish.
Yeah, mostly the Amish.
They came down here, I guess, for Rumspringa, and I was like, "You're alive," and they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You're not worried about COVID?" They're like, "What's COVID? We don't have cell phones." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Want to do my podcast? No, okay. How'd you get here? Uber." That's the world that we live in, Adam.
I know.
Do you think it's going to get better? Yeah. No. China regime.
I think if you have enough people, which is funny because you see enough even normies lately being like, wait a minute, I'm vaccinated. I'm not wearing a mask again. Like, people who would never talk like me or you are now like, wait a minute, what? Fuck. That's a good sign. That's what you want to see. What you don't want to see is people being like, let's do it again. Like, that's what you don't want. You want people being like, no, wait a minute. I just did this for you, which is stupid to ever. That's why you never give up your freedoms in the first place. Because they don't come back ever. Like, I tell my wife this all the time. I'm like, hey, do we still talk about 9/11? It's 20 years and we still do. Yeah. We still have the TSA exists because of 9/11. All this shit exists because still 9/11. Like, it doesn't go away. Like, it doesn't. You never gain the freedoms back. You lose, ever, unless you take them back, which we won't do.
You know what we should do? You should add on to my 9/11 episode. I got to find a way to wrap it because I'm at this point where I've ramped everything up, and then now I got to find a way to slowly descend us back out of the madness.
Well, I'm just gonna go more and more into. I think they blew that plane up over PA too. There's no fucking way.
I think they do too. Why does it dissipate over a mile radius? Something that hits the ground would only scatter in that area, not
There's
just
no impact crater.
Yeah, I already talked about in Cheney's autobiography. There was a plane that was, because at this point they only knew that 2 were hijacked. They didn't know about, they had a possible 3rd, but they didn't know if there was 4 because there was a plane flying over the White House that was heading towards that direction. And in his autobiography, a guy runs into the room and says, "We need to go right now. There's a plane coming over, about to head towards the direction of the White House, about 800 miles out." He goes, "Shoot it." He goes, "Take it down." Guy runs back into the room a minute later and says, "Now it's 600 miles out." He goes, "Didn't I tell you to shoot it down?" Dude runs back out, comes back in, 400 miles out, 200 miles out. Next thing you know, the plane just flew right over the White House. No terrorist on it, but they were about to shoot it. I go, okay, if that's a possible scenario that it didn't happen because that guy choked and decided he didn't want to blow up a plane, not knowing if there was one on there, who's to say the other person didn't choke and just decided to fucking do what he was told?
Yeah, listen, man, that day we'll never get all the answers. The official narrative is false.
Wait, why did they sell a week after 9/11 happened? Why did they sell all the scrap from the towers to China for $200,000? That's the
Yeah.
weird fucking part to me. I was like, what? And then even the
Well, not all of
families,
it. A lot of it was on Staten Island.
well, a lot of family members were like, why the fuck would you do that? You should be investigating, not selling it. But they were
Of
like, nope,
course.
get it out of here. Get it out of here as fast as possible.
No, and even the Pentagon, dude, I don't know if a plane hit that shit. Where's the engines? Where's the plane?
I can tell you that it definitely hit the tower.
For sure. Well, we seen it. We saw it.
Well, a lot of people say it's a conspiracy. I don't think it was 2, though. I think it was 1, and then some other funky shit happened to the second one.
No. It
No,
was 2.
I don't know.
No, we saw both.
That's hard, dude. It's hard to hit the same fucking bullseye on a dartboard, man. You're telling me they did that with airplanes?
Because they have that first footage. There was firemen doing a training drill, and they have it on their camera. Because they were like, "What the?" They pull the camera up. You can look it up, and the plane's right. It's the first one, boom, right the fuck in, and then the second one, obviously everybody saw.
I don't know. I think they only got footage from the second one. I scrubbed the internet for the first. I couldn't find it.
Look for it. I'm telling you, it's from that. It's from that. I've seen again. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. I'm telling you, I fucking seen it. It was a plane. I seen it. I saw it. I saw it multiple times, especially as a kid. I'm from New York. They showed it a bunch that day.
All right. Looks like you're coming on the 9/11 episode.
Fuck. It's gonna be me talking about conspiracy shit.
Good. Let's fucking do it.
Because I don't. Yeah. All right.
It's gonna. Well, I mean, it's at 8. Almost gonna. Well, it's almost at an 8-hour episode. So hopefully Spotify just is like, all right, I'm gonna let this kid do the kindness of the world and highlight some conspiracies. But Adam, you've given me enough of your time. The host of the Porcupine Show. Where can people find you at?
At Adam Nutter on all the social media. Oh, also go listen to Cult of Us, my comedy one I do with Neil Wood.
I own a jacket, people. I was wearing it in a lot of my shows for a while.
Oh, we got new merch.
He's got new merch.
We got new merch, better quality shirts, droptent.com/ I don't know. Just go droptent.com for all that stuff.
I'll make sure I link it in the description. Adam, is there anything you want to tell
them? No, go check out the Porcupine. Go check out Cult of Us. Go sub to my YouTube channels at Adam Nutter on YouTube, at Cult of Us on YouTube.
Any positive messages to anybody out there?
Yeah, if you care about liberty and care about your freedoms, join the Mises Caucus and Libertarian Party. We care about your freedoms, and we're actually fighting to change things in the upcoming election.